Well, with us now in the studio is Dimitri Diliani. He's a member of the Palestinian Fatah Revolutionary Council. And Jeremy Salton. He's the chairman of the Anglo Forum of the Jewish Home Party, which is now the driving force in the Israeli government, pushing for even tougher measures against the Palestinians in the wake of these recent attacks. And Jeremy, we just heard, for example, about this expulsion bill, internal expulsion bill for the Palestinians, but we've heard criticism even from members of the Israeli government, the Attorney General even questioning if that can pass legal muster. It's sure to be controversial. Why is your party pushing it?
I'm not so sure it's so controversial. I mean, this is something that the Prime Minister is backing. He even said, it was leaked from the Likud faction meeting today, that he thinks it'll be very effective. Yesh Atid, the leader, Mr. Yair Lapid, said that he is in favor of this. So I'm not sure it's so controversial. What we want to do is, like you said, have tougher measures here, because we don't think that right now, when the average person is in their house now who's saying, maybe I'll make a terrorist attack, maybe I won't, he's saying, you know what, I'm getting a lot out of this. I'm going to get money for my family. There's no real consequence for what it is that I'm going to do. Maybe I'll go ahead and do it. So we want to go ahead and change that equation to make it more difficult on these people to go forward and embrace violence.
I just want to clarify a controversy also in the international community. I was also referring to Jeremy.
Sure. Well, I want to let Dimitri respond to that. You know, at the moment, this bill is largely symbolic because, as we just heard, we are in an election year. There is a lot of politics at play. Would a bill like that actually help deter terror? Would it work?
I think Israel has tried collective punishment despite its legality in international law and its inhumanity. Israeli governments have tried collective punishment, and it has never worked. Always making things worse because, as I explained over the phone for producers, which I was supposed to be on Thursday, when I am under siege in Ramallah, I'm pretty mad because I didn't do anything and I'm under siege. I'm paying for something I did not do. For somebody with the right head on the shoulders, they might not do something about it. But somebody who has other convictions might, just for being under siege. And there were 500,000 people under siege in Ramallah that day. At least, I would say, 10 or 15 would have been brought up differently than I am. I would think about doing something about it. Now, and the thing is that looking at us, dehumanizing Palestinians has become the trade of parties like the Jewish Home. They don't look at us as human beings. When they are... I explain what you are. I never claimed that I speak for you.
Let me say what I am. Don't put me into my mouth.
For somebody that pushes for collective punishment, for example, Ashraf Naalwe, they demolished his home today. Ashraf Naalwe was never convicted in a court of law. He was only charged. Not only his house was demolished.
The man who is believed to be behind the shooting death of a man and a woman at work in the Barkan Industrial Zone in October. I need to give our viewers some context.
He was charged. Now, if you claim to be a democratic state, no, there are rules for claiming to be a democratic state, which is you are innocent until convicted guilty. Now, if you want to be a barbaric state, just say it as it is and say whoever we believe does something, we'll make him, his family that has nothing to do with it, his cousins that have shops on the bottom of the building.
Well, Israel, important to note again for context that part of the building, only the interior of one area was destroyed, not that entire building. The family actually of the victims are angry about that. You've made a lot of claims. Let's just let Jeremy respond.
I think that that's actually what you're illustrating is the entire reason why that's not enough. People are asking, why are you going forward with this bill? That's not enough. To go ahead and break off a room in the middle of a building, okay, that's not something that's going to deter people. We have, why are you under siege? Because there are Israeli bodies dropping. There are dead Israelis. You had the terrible, horrific situation of the 30-week baby that was taken. These are terrible things. Israelis are rightfully pissed off, and they want to see results from this government. And it is our duty as the government to go ahead and say that we're going to do something, because right now what we've been doing is not working. And what we need to do is do tougher measures to stop it.
But I just want to point, this is what I mean by saying dehumanizing. He mentioned the Israeli that were killed. He didn't mention that 12 hours before that, there were 3 young innocent Palestinian people not being proved guilty in any kind of court of law were shot dead by a trained army that was given the order to shoot them dead. He didn't even mention them because for him, they are nothing but stray dogs.
You don't have Israeli soldiers going around shooting people for absolutely no reason.
Well, why do you explain people are getting shot left and right?
Gentlemen, I want to bring in something else that we heard that is sort of a key part of this discussion. We heard this from the U.S., from the Trump administration on the day that all of this unfolded on Thursday, the day of an attack in a West Bank settlement. This is U.S. Ambassador to David Friedman. He was weighing in, as he has been repeatedly. He was tweeting that in the past week, Palestinian terrorists have killed or wounded 14 Israelis in multiple attacks. The Palestinian Authority maintains laws that will compensate these terrorists and their families for their heinous acts. The PA can be a political body or a sponsor of terror, not both. Now, Dimitri, we know where David Friedman stands on the political spectrum. We know that he has come out supporting settlements, but this is a point that Congress is in support of, this notion of pay to slay. This is an issue. Is that some fair criticism there?
Well, Friedman does not constitute any moral authority at all. Actually, he should run for the Jewish Home Party.
But Congress is behind him.
Goodwin support, condemnation of this policy does have a majority in the Congress.
Historically, it has been like that. Congress has been historically on the side of Israel at the time that the world is on the side of the Palestinian people.
We're asking you, though, about the specific policy of paying these families that commit attacks.
No, these families are paid as social cases. For example, I'll tell you something. When an Israeli gets killed while he is occupying somebody else's land, does he or not, his family gets compensated? They do. When an Israeli shoots, gets compensated? Don't they get compensated? They don't get money?
No. Explain. You know, you're saying that it's you're trying to equalize it.
You are in the reserve.
Let's be factual.
You go into an occupied. I'm telling you are in the reserve. You go into an occupied territory. Occupied territory. You get shot and killed.
I go into disputed territory.
Look, you get shot and killed. Let's stay on the point. Don't your family get some kind of compensation?
Is that the same for you? Quick follow-up, then I'll let you answer. As somebody who goes out with the intention of killing civilians.
Oh, do you think they put on their army clothes and have these guns to distribute roses? They're going out to kill people.
Jeremy?
And that's how you explain how hundreds and thousands of Palestinians are being killed.
I think the gentleman sitting to my right has definitely explained what his view is, and his view is violation of international law. You cannot go ahead and target civilians. That is a violation of a countless... That's what you're saying. You're saying it's the same as a military situation. I'm not putting any words into your mouth. That is exactly what you said.
You know what, gentlemen? We have very little time left. So, Jeremy, I want to ask you again about these policies, whether it's home demolition or otherwise. You hear again and again, also from Israeli security officials. They say this is not effective. This is hurting Israel's goals. Do you really think that this can achieve your aim?
Let's talk about the bill on the table, because I didn't hear anybody today actually refer to the bill. What the bill says is any member of a family who's a first-degree relative who has either decided that what they're going to do is not prevent or encourage the terrorist attack which is carried out by that family member, that's the person that would end up being removed from their house through this bill that we're going forward. I don't think it's that controversial. We're talking about people who knew.